In January 1992, a bombshell disrupted what had been the comparatively even course of Manx Radio's affairs for the past few years. Brian Kreisky, a local businessman, presented to the Manx Council of Ministers a detailed and, on the face of it, a very attractive proposal to buy a majority share in Manx Radio and relieve the taxpayer of responsibility for its funding. Kreisky's father was Czechoslovakian, his mother German, and his uncle was Bruno Kreisky, Austria's longest-serving Prime Minister since 1945. However, Brian was born and educated in London and had many of the characteristics of a Cockney. After school, he spent some time abroad, learning French and German, before deciding not to follow his father in his engineering business, but to pursue his own twin passions, photography and motor racing. In 1968, he met and married Cathy, who was then working as a reservations clerk for Air France, and who, according to her husband, at that time had the world's shortest miniskirt. He described himself as a pushy photographer who used to lie in the gutter in Monte Carlo to get the best shots of the cars. He bought one of the very first black and white video cameras in 1971 and one of the first colour cameras in 1978. In 1976, Brian Kreisky and his wife together set up Video Vision Broadcasting and soon made contacts with Sky Television, for whom they did an increasing amount of work. Kreisky came to the Isle of Man in 1976, working on a Sky programme, and over the next 3 years, according to his own assessment, Video Vision became one of the largest producers, if not the largest, of motorsport programming anywhere in the world. In 1988, on the morning of the Formula One TT race, he happened to see Ballamore, a country house near Colby, which was for sale with 8 acres of land. He bought it and made it the headquarters of Video Vision, producing their TV films for worldwide syndication, including motorsport championships, news, features, and highlight material for broadcasters, promoters, and home video. He'd recently secured exclusive rights to the first Moscow Super Prix, signed by Boris Yeltsin, and according to his own calculations, 14 hours of motorsport programming were beamed from Colby every week to a worldwide audience of 75 million. In its 75-page Manx Radio 10-year business plan, Video Vision had some hard things to say about the current performance of the station. While admitting that Manx Radio had a proud history of innovation and progress, it went on to say that in 1992, as the station prepares for its 28th anniversary, this is unhappily no longer the case, and leadership has given way to mediocrity. Manx Radio today is sadly far from being the progressive, innovative broadcaster that it was. Indeed, Manx Radio now lags behind other local radio stations, not only in its development, but in its most basic standards. Kreisky was apparently not impressed with the station's professionalism. Nor did Video Vision consider that Manx Radio was successfully reaching either enough or the right kind of listeners. At no time during the day does the Manx Radio audience rise above its morning peak of 24,000. In an area with a surveyed population of 64,000, this indicates that at its very best, Manx Radio speaks only to a third of its potential audience, and the figures are based on adult listeners defined as 15 years plus in age. All commercial stations accept that the heart of their target audience is aged 11 to 21. In other words, an important chunk of the potential audience is missing from the survey. Because younger modern audiences are conditioned to think of radio almost exclusively as a supplier of music, and older listeners are accustomed to using it as a far more broadly based source of news, information and entertainment, there is a clear need for a service to suit each taste. This is easily achievable using split frequency programming. Well, this was the main novelty in Video Vision's proposals, but there were also enticing promises of the gradual development of satellite radio and a Manx TV station, both eventually operating by satellite and reaching far beyond the Isle of Man. Moreover, Kreisky was prepared to offer £345,000 for 3/4 of the share capital of Manx Radio to spend very substantial sums on new equipment, and to promise that by 1995 there would be no need of an annual subvention from the government. But there would have to be management changes, the proposal warned. In order to achieve the foregoing, it is clear that it will be fundamentally necessary to establish new management and controls at Manx Radio, if for no other reason than that the knowledge and power to correct the present situation is already in the hands of the present management. Yet there appears to have been little or no attempt to do anything.